it though.
All right, welcome into our first live broadcast.
Yep.
You recognize us in separate windows. Maybe it's the first time you're seeing us together.
I was
That's
going for
proof.
the divide.
Oh
So
yeah.
we still have two windows.
There we go.
Great.
So, we're just gonna get into some bowl games and Division 2-3 games this weekend. We're not gonna have the full episode. Just gonna have a little brief discussion on this Saturday early afternoon.
Happy birthday, Jake. Shout outs.
Happy birthday to Jake, who's watching, and also in the other room.
Yep.
I hope you watching this. We got a special birthday surprise for you, and by special, I mean the Central Michigan-San Diego State matchup. Of course, everyone's talking about it.
Everyone is talking about it, only because it's the first bowl game of the day, and not really much other reasons than that.
Well, there is the FCS Celebration Bowl, which is currently going on right now, as I get a score check, and the score is 7-3 NC-A&T. This is probably, I think this is like their 8th year in a row or something. It seems like NC-A&T gets it every year.
Yeah.
That's why I picked them in my bowl pick challenge. And we're trying to help you with your bowl pick challenge.
Yeah. So go to the bank, go to Vegas, buy a ticket right now for the New Year's, put down our podcast picks because we're pretty good at this job.
Yeah.
And by that I mean we're around 500 because we just shoot at the stars. And sometimes we hit them, sometimes we burn up in the sun in a fiery blaze of glory. So.
I know, but we're legends for doing it.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
We are.
Okay, so with that out of the way. Do you want to start FBS? Should we start lower divisions?
Yeah, let's go with the FBS because I have somewhat of an idea of what we're talking about.
All right, let's do it. All right, let's start off with the New Mexico Bowl in Texas. No,
naturally.
Definitely
naturally.
not. With probably the expected attendance of about 200 people, we have Central Michigan and San Diego State.
Yeah.
San Diego State coming in at 9-3, perhaps quite a bit lower tiered bowl than they expected, especially because they were 3 points away from reaching the Mountain West Championship game.
Yeah.
Central Michigan coming in at 8-5 in a relatively weak MAC.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter to me, Garrett. I do think that Central Michigan will be able to pull this one off. I think San Diego State's defense is something spectacular, something amazing. But you're looking at their record, they've never won a game by more than 7 points. And I think in bowl season, I just don't know if an offense that low scoring, even with that amazing defense, will be able to hold off given the weeks to prepare. I think the Central Michigan team can come out with a lot of firepower. Dormandy, their quarterback, seems pretty efficient and effective.
Down last week.
Yeah.
A couple weeks ago.
Miami of Ohio. Go Redhawks.
Glad
I got that one correct. But, again, I think the Macs won rolling this year, too. They've won 2 games already in Buffalo and Kent State last night, pulling up the upset over Utah State.
Right.
So I just think maybe the Macs got it this year after being the worst division in the FBS last bowl season, winning 1 of 6 games, I believe. But after a 2-0 starts, and I just think that they'll have too much firepower. This SDSU offense is just pretty abysmal. Nothing really of note. Agnew's nothing of a great quarterback.
Damn.
Star running back.
Damn.
It's just a great defense, and I think that's a little more offense at this point. A lot of times we prepare a pretty new game plan, I guess, for offense, but I think that Central Michigan will come out with more pizzazz, more fun, and it's bowl season, so they'll come up with a victory there and get the MAC to 3-0 on the season.
Wow. Definitely a shocking loss, I think, for Utah State, getting run by Kent State. So the MAC's on a little bit of a roll. I'm 0-2 picking against them. So I'll try and make it 0-3. I got San Diego State, who hasn't scored above 20 points in the last 4 games.
Yeah.
But Central Michigan definitely hasn't seen a defense like the one they're about to see. And their defense, obviously, not too great either.
And
I think that the long trip for them, it's going to be probably pretty cold to suit them. But They probably went out drinking in Albuquerque. You know how wild it gets out there, smoking the meth.
Meth.
I think this is a
God.
20-17 type game.
Wow.
But I think San Diego State, I think they're the better team. They've won 9 games somehow with their horrible offense. And I think they pull out another one against what should be a weak MAC.
Yeah. Maybe it's like the SEC. They just all beat on each other. That's why they're all 4-4 in the conference.
Maybe they're the best conference in the league now.
Yeah, exactly.
That we've ever seen.
Exactly.
All right, we'll move on. 2:30 kick. Not on the ESPN family of networks. We have Liberty, Georgia Southern. Liberty, of course. I think this is their first bowl appearance since being moved up to the FBS level. They got off to a great start, I believe 6-1, and they've cooled off considerably. They finished it off last week with a win over New Mexico State, who finishes the season at 2-10. And we didn't finish with a winless team this year, did we?
No.
Right?
Not yes yet. Rice.
I think Rice
They
won.
won.
New Mexico State won, and then there was Georgia. No. South Alabama? No. I'll fact check that.
Yeah, I think you're right though. I think everyone won a game at some point. UMass won a game.
UMass,
somehow.
yeah. Yeah, so they closed the season with losses to their to some pretty good opponents: Virginia, BYU, Rutgers. They got a win there against UMass and New Mexico State, who are horrible teams. How do you see this one shaping up while I go check the standings?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, well, obviously, Liberty, it's exciting to see them. If it is their first bowl game ever, I'm not positive. I think that would be something to note. But, yeah, I mean, they've had a good season. They've beat up teams they should be beating. These winless teams, these really poor teams, FCS-level teams. But, yeah, I just don't think that the quality of their wins have been strong enough to take on a bowl team. Even this one facing today. And I do think that Liberty will be losing to whoever the hell they're playing. I don't even remember at this point. It was Georgia State.
Yeah.
Georgia Southern.
Southern.
Yeah. Sorry, that was the thing. Georgia Southern. I do like them. Winning this game, it'll be a challenge with Liberty having weeks to prepare for that triple option offense. I know that's something that factors in a lot to game planning. Having weeks to prepare, but. I just don't think Liberty's beaten a good team this year.
Certainly not in a while.
Yeah, certainly not in a while. So I do think Georgia Southern will pull it off. And so the dominance, Liberty will be unfortunate to lose their first bowl game in program history, but Kent State went over for the first 3 and won in a pretty outstanding fashion last night. So, we'll just take it a little time, but this is a good team. It's a team on the rise in the FBS. But, almost missed it. But yeah, give me Georgia Southern.
Okay. I like Georgia Southern too. As we were talking about, their being an independent, their schedule is kind of weird. They get other independents, and most of them are pretty bad. They got New Mexico State twice, I believe.
What?
Yeah.
That's funny.
I know. They couldn't fill out the schedule. Nobody wants to play them. Everyone's scared.
Yeah.
No, I'm with
Flames.
you. Buckshot Calvert, the Liberty quarterback, has put together a really good season, but I think too much triple option here. Georgia State's been putting up points their last few games. They've been kind of on a roll, ish, sort of. They've won a lot of.
They beat App State. That's all that matters.
They beat App State, part of a 4-game winning streak. They won the last 2 out of 3 games. So I'll take Georgia Southern. And I'd like to make a correction. How can we forget about the winless team this season? The team that did not cover the spread until the last game of the season. Akron!
Yeah.
The Zips!
Yeah.
With Zip wins.
LeBron's hometown.
Yeah, LeBron couldn't help him to...
He's got some years of eligibility left.
He does have some years of eligibility left. Absolutely.
Oh, man. Rest in peace, Zips.
Yeah, but the Akron Zips and
Rip
12...
Zips. Rip Zips.
Yeah. All right, so we both got Georgia Southern coming up to an interesting matchup between the 10-win SMU and FAU Mustangs and Owls,
respectively.
Yes.
English teacher.
It's an interesting game. Of course, Lane Kiffin moving on to Ole Miss.
Running Rebels.
Firing Matt Luke, finally. And Justin Wilcox, right? Sonny Dykes of SMU is trying to coach his team to an 11th win, which would be an impressive mark for the team that, of course, still recovering from the death penalty, it seems like. How do you see this one going?
Yeah. Good question, though.
I'm only made of great questions.
Yeah, you are. I like SMU here. This has been a really solid team all year. Shane Buechele has had a pretty spectacular season, throwing the ball. Some pretty great options on receiver and a good running back, although I'm forgetting his name as well. And yeah, I know with Lane Kiffin moving on, FAU's done some great things with that program, but, it might be a little bit demoralizing. Unsure if he's coaching or not. We didn't do a lot of research before this episode, so we are terribly sorry for a lot of the misinformation or the lack thereof that we possess today. But, yeah, I just think this is a really well-balanced SMU team. Their only losses, I think, were to Memphis and Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Some ranked teams right now in the standings. And
Definitely.
FAU is certainly up there and it's a quality team, but I think losing their head coach, a little demoralizing. They might want to try and get one last win from if he's coaching, but also, what is it really bad if he's moving on to Ole Miss?
Right.
So yeah, I think this is a really well-balanced offense. I think the SMU defense is pretty stout as well. It'll be a high-powered game. There will be a lot of air raid, a lot of spread offenses. It will be probably close the entire way.
Take the over.
Take the over for sure. I think it's like 63 points, excuse me.
Yes.
Or the point total of 63 games, to be honest. They can score an average of no point.
Right.
That's some crazy math in my head. Not worth it. But yeah, I just think SMU.
The over-under 64.
Yeah.
I'd go over.
Yeah. Easily 4 touchdowns each. Give them 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, give me SMU. Shane Buechele, pretty spectacular quarterback. Hopefully had a really good season. If he can stay mistake-free, spread the ball around, they'll win this shootout.
Yeah, and also Xavier Jones, or Xander Jones. Xavier Jones, sorry. The running back has been a workhorse. He's carried the ball 232 times this season, which is a lot. Right? He's been working hard, about 20 carries per game for this team. And, that's many more touches out of the backfield as well. Yeah, I'm with you. I think the main factor here is that the Lane Kiffin train has moved on to Ole Miss, and I don't believe he will be coaching this week game. FAU's bringing in Willie Taggart, who had kind of a meteoric rise at South Florida, then to Oregon for a year, and then to Florida State, only to be brought down back to earth rather quickly with some embarrassing losses. So they have some promise going into the future. They have a couple big-name coaches in a row, and to see if they can continue on their streak of winning the Conference USA, who has been a pretty stout conference all year.
Yeah.
However, they're going up against a really tough SMU team. Shane Buechele, as you mentioned, Xavier Jones, Sonny Dykes, the coach. They're favored by 7 points here. One thing I will note is that it is kind of a home game for Florida Atlantic, being down at the Boca Raton. So this is, I think it will probably be a shootout, but I got SMU winning by probably a touchdown and a field goal, 48-38.
Yeah.
I'm seeing that. I think they have, obviously Robeson has also had a phenomenal year, almost matching Buechele, but I trust Buechele's senior leadership just a little bit more, having played at Texas, of course. So I'll take SMU. And I think they have more to play for. I think for them, Florida Atlantic has had a couple good seasons now in the last 3 years. But SMU, this is like kind of a big deal. For them to get to 11 wins this season would be an amazing story. So I'll take the Mustangs here in the Boca Raton Bowl on foreign turf, I guess, sort of. I don't know if we mentioned what bowl game was Liberty and Georgia Southern, so I think we should probably mention that is the FBC Mortgage Cure Bowl, and that's taking place in Orlando. So Florida hosting a couple of bowl games today. We're going to move on. Max, you want to kick us off into the next game here?
Absolutely. We have FIU, Florida International, taking on Arkansas State in the Camellia Bowl. Taking place, I imagine, also in Florida. Let me check. No, in Montgomery, Alabama. What a beautiful location.
No. Yes. It's very historic.
Yeah, it is definitely that.
Shout out to MLK, the real MVP.
Yeah. Represent his birthday in a couple of weeks.
Exactly.
In a month or so now, actually. But yeah, so we'll look at this game. FIU taking Arkansas State. Another good old Sun Belt Conference USA clash.
I know, yeah.
A lot of those, it feels like. Yeah, so FIU's had they're both 6-6. No, sorry, FIU 6-6, Arkansas State 7-5.
Mm-hmm.
But FIU getting this bowl game is pretty remarkable. They beat Miami 2 weeks ago.
To just barely make it.
After losing to Marshall, I believe, in the following week.
Correct.
So, yeah, this is a pretty special moment for them, I would say. Again, being their crosstown rival, their older brother or whatever they would consider Miami to them. To get to this point is really spectacular, and I'm very proud of them. But I think, I am. It's amazing. I really respect it. I also don't like Miami.
Nobody does.
So yeah, that you can go to somewhere not good. But I'm gonna take Arkansas State here. Yeah, I feel like the Sun Belts seems to do really well in bowl games.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Just they have a lot of fun. It's bowl season's fun season. Sun Belt fun belts. I know nothing about this Arkansas State team besides going 7-5,
and their coach's wife died. RIP to Blake Anderson's wife. Hope that the whole Anderson family is doing well as the season's going on. Continue.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, I don't have much else to say. I like the Red Wolves. They're playing in Alabama, so it's a little closer to home. Yeah, that is literally all I can say about this game. So I'm gonna take Arkansas State. In a close game, I think the spread's like a half a point, if not even, both ways. So give me the Red Wolves taking on the Panthers. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna I had to check to make sure that this was true, but Conference USA had the best bowl record last year.
Oh, there you
go. Tied with Independence, but that's not a real conference.
Fake.
They went 4-2 for a 67% winning percentage. All of the other conferences were, so the power conferences, they were either 500 or one game above or below. 6-5, 5-4, 4-3, 3-4, 6-6. I don't even feel like listing who did what. The AAC was disappointing. The MAC was disappointing. Mountain West went 3-2. Sunbelt went 3-2. So, no conference really stood out, but if you're going to go by percentage points as a technicality.
Okay. Gut feeling.
Right. So, I will kind of lean on that barely, and I will take Florida State here. I'm pointing out that Arkansas State came off a horrible season-ending loss at home to the on the road to the South Alabama Jaguars, that was their second win of the season. A horrible football team, a better basketball team. We'll get into that next week, as we have a lot of college basketball to catch up on. If you're solely watching our show to wait for that, you might want to turn off wait till next week's episode, because we got nothing for you today. Florida International needed that Miami win, of course, to make it. They did lose an overtime game to Marshall, but again, this Conference USA has had quite a few strong teams in the last few years. Louisiana Tech, FAU, Western Kentucky, all having good seasons. They lost to Tulane earlier in the year. Marshall having a good season. So their losses aren't really bad. And I think probably a little bit stronger than the Sun Belt this year when you look at the overall conference, and especially top-heavy teams. When you think about the Sun Belt, you think Appalachian State, you think Georgia State and Georgia Southern. I don't know. I think that the quality of play in at Conference USA, they had more good teams. Okay, that being said, I'm going to take Florida International in the Camellia Bowl, down in the heart of the Bible Belt.
Yeah.
Yeah, that place. Montgomery, Alabama. Never been there. Have you been there?
I think so.
Yeah. I've driven through Alabama.
Yeah, I've been to Tuscaloosa and Birmingham.
I had dinner in Auburn at a Steak and Shake. Wait, which is the cheap one? Shake Shack or Steak and Shake? I think it's Steak and Shake. That's the restaurant.
Yeah.
Shake Shack's the expensive one. So, yeah, that was cool. On the way,
Alabama, love it. It's beautiful. I recommend visiting if you've not before, but it's a little backwards.
Yeah. But I like Florida International, so go get him for me so I can take down this guy for a second week in a row because I finished 7-0 in last week's lower division.
Yeah. You would know because we apparently forgot to post the video last week, so whoops. But,
so that never happened, I guess.
I mean, it's not on video.
I know.
It's not on video.
I went 7-0.
You did.
I went 7-0. Max went 3-4, 4-3.
I don't even know how I did. Army lost bad.
I'm so good at picking the lower division games, which we're gonna get to at the end of this episode. We're gonna move on to a few more games that are happening this week in the FBS. We're gonna start off with why don't we do this one? It's happening. It's in the nightcap today. Another Conference USA Sun Belt matchup. We have App and UAB.
Yep, Appetizer's taking on
the Appetizer State. Yes. That's all you, buddy. Who do you like?
Great, App State. I mean, UAB's not good. They had a really good start to the season, but they played no one good. They played the weakest in their CUSA conference. So go off to that 6-0 or 6-1 start, and have been really falling apart, I think, towards the end of the season since then. App State has been really well all season. Losing just the one game to Georgia Southern. Thornston's not a great quarterback at UAB. He's really mistake prone.
He throws an interception every time you turn around.
Yeah.
Sorry, if you're watching this, love you.
Yeah, I mean, Division I college football player. That's a lot better than I can do.
I know. I was Division .5, which is higher.
Yeah.
I was an NFL quarterback.
Yeah, exactly.
Then they cut me.
He was too good.
Yeah.
That's why. Tom Brady was scared of him, so
totally.
He had this whole coup organized to get Garrett off the NFL. And the Cleveland Browns, he's going to be the savior, but then just didn't happen. But yeah, just give me App State. UAB is not a good team. That's really all I need to say about it.
Yeah.
I don't like their quarterback.
Tyler Johnson.
Right. The third, I believe. But we'll see.
They did make it to the conference championship game.
They again at the end
where they got waxed.
Yeah.
As we all knew they would.
Yeah.
I think they've been propped up, as Max, you were saying, by some wins against some lesser competition. I say this despite, just ranting about how good the Conference USA was. But they have a win. I mean, their non-conference wins were against Alabama State, who they beat by 5.
Count them.
And that's FCS Alabama State. They beat Akron by 11.
Yeah.
And then they beat South Alabama, who finished 2-10. So that's 3 of their wins right there. So that means the rest of their season they went 6-4, which is fine.
Rice.
Yeah, they beat Rice. They beat UTSA. They beat Old Dominion. They lost big to Tennessee. I was getting kind of hype about that. They lost big to Southern Miss, another good team. They lost to Western Kentucky, another decent team. Probably the only decent team they've beaten all year is Louisiana Tech. Kind of a shocking 20-14 win.
I believe Jamar Smith is out there.
And Jamar Smith, you're right, that they're the stud quarterback for the Bulldogs.
Yeah.
So as of course we all know, Appalachian State coming off their 2 Power 5 wins. Their coach
us.
Being hired to another.
One is against us.
Yes, one is against us. Their first-year head coach, I'd say a little bit of a risky hire to Missouri. right?
Already? What?
Yeah,
He's going
yeah.
to Missouri?
Eli yeah. Eli Drinkwitz. This is first year, so none of the players are his. Kind of an interesting thing. He's kind of relying off the backs of like senior leadership, like Zach Thomas.
Yeah.
Their offense really showed out against ULL last week. They kind of let Louisiana kind of get back in the game. I think that's uncharacteristic of defense, but I think UAB's offense can easily be held under 21 points, let's say. I say that App State runs with this one. They'll win by the score of 31-14.
Yeah. I like
Mind reader. Okay, cool. I mean, it's pretty tough to pick UAB in that game. We're moving on to the final game of the night, and we will include the Power 5 Washington Huskies, who, of course, had the surprise departure of Coach Chris Peterson after some very successful years, make it to the Rose Bowl, make it to the College Football Playoff, and another New Year's Six Bowl. Kind of a dominant run there coming to an end. They finished 7-5 this year. They go to the Las Vegas Bowl, and again, we failed to identify what bowl game the last one was. So that is New Orleans, R+L Carriers New Orleans Bowl in the Mega Superdome.
Ultra.
That's going to be at 9 o'clock, a little bit earlier on tonight. Boise State and Washington. Chris Peterson coaching in his final game against his former team that he, of course, led to so many fantastic victories, now coached by Brian Harsin. The future for Washington, they have their defensive coordinator stepping up, and a lot of people are soon excited about, I think it's Jimmy Lake, I can't remember his first name, but Lake stepping up. But Boise State, of course, having their fantastic season, 12-1. Their only slip up against BYU, and if they didn't, they might be in the conversation for definitely for a New Year's Six Bowl.
Yeah,
I doubt,
automatically.
probably not. You could make the case that they gotta get the nod over Oklahoma or something. Probably
is this
not.
not a New Year's Six Bowl?
No, this is last. No,
Who got it? Oh,
Memphis.
Did.
Memphis.
Yeah.
So, but this is like a New Year's Six team. They have great wins this season. Over they did not lose a game in conference, of course, and they lost one game by 3 to BYU. They have the win against Florida State. They have the win against Air Force. They have wins against Wyoming, Hawaii, Utah State very convincingly, and then of course Hawaii again. They beat Hawaii convincingly twice. I think this is kind of a sad time for Washington, but Boise State's performed very well in the Las Vegas Bowl before. I remember them beating UCLA one time. Actually, I think that was BYU. Whatever. They definitely, the Mountain West, this is a Mountain West versus Pac-12 game. It's usually one of the best Mountain West teams versus kind of a middling Pac-12 team. And I think that the Pac-12 is kind of weak right now. Their middling teams are probably not as good as teams like Boise State, who have run the table all year. So I'll take Hank Bachmeier and the boys, Brian Harsin, their dominant offense, and pretty solid defense all year to get to 12 wins. Jacob Eason probably will put up some points against Boise State. He, of course, went to Georgia and then came back to Washington, having kind of a disappointing season, a little bit more turnover prone than a lot of people thought. So I'll take Boise State taking advantage of a key turnover late in the game to win by a touchdown over the Washington Huskies.
Great.
Yeah.
I will go against you. I really don't have much else to say. I do know that Easton has been not the best quarterback this year, but he's done pretty well against non-Power 5 opponents from what I can recall for the season. This is definitely a really good Boise State offense and defense, and I think they'll have some struggle here. But I would have picked them hands down earlier entering the day by looking at some of the odds. For some reason, Washington's favored, and I don't know why. Maybe it's this zeal for Chris Peterson's last game, beating his old team as well, trying to rectify this, disappointing because they're still in a bowl season, in a bowl game, but certainly not what they wanted it to be. I think the North was pretty wide open entering the season, Oregon being like the big opponent. But yeah, the Sharks have them as a 3-point favorite, and I have no idea why. It's a great defense. I think this is going to be the hardest defense Boise State's played all season. They've done amazing all year. Their losses have all been pretty close, I believe, against other, really good offensive teams. Hi, Jake. Happy birthday, Jake. So, yeah, just with the Sharks believing in Washington for some reason, I will follow them as well and pull for these Huskies and their great defense. Easton will have a decent game. Hopefully we'll avoid some of those turnovers he's been prone to all season and reclaim some of the early magic he had entering it. So
Yeah.
give me the Huskies.
Washington kind of has a tendency to play to their competition. They have 2 back-to-back close losses against the top 2 teams in the Pac-12, Oregon and Utah, by 4 and 5 points. Then they also have losses to a bad Stanford team, who I believe finished the season like 4 and 8 or something like that, for one of their worst seasons in years. And a bad Stanford team, and they lost to Colorado, not a great team. They lost to who else? Cal, just an okay team.
McElwain.
McElwain, who I think quit football.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
He's doing baseball.
Which is probably not good either. Oh, got him.
Perhaps you can leave USC.
Yeah.
Hold a grudge,
Rip.
but wish you the best at the same time.
Yeah, give me the Broncos again. All right, so that's all tonight's games. We're gonna hit a couple of next week games early on. Monday we have the Bad Boy Mowers Gasparilla Bowl. Gasp Gorilla Bowl, and this is gonna be probably a high scoring matchup as well between the UCF Knights and the Marshall Thundering Herd. And this game's happening in Florida as usual, kind of a home game for UCF. A lot of people would think that UCF probably wins this game. Do you feel the same way?
I do.
Yeah.
Again, I think UCF's a pretty...
I thought you were gonna be cool.
Nah, UCF. Just give UCF. Marshall's a good team as well. Made it to the bowl game. They made it to the conference championship.
They did.
And losing to App State. I think they're pretty close game.
No, they didn't.
Oh.
And they're also in the competition.
Non-power hour. This is what happens when you don't do your research. Kids, stay in school. Don't be bums like us. Yeah, UCF though. This is a really high-powered offense. Not as good as years they've had in the past, losing a handful of games, couple of games. But it still is a very prideful team, and I think that this is what they need to start next year off right. I believe to get Milton back.
I hope he comes back.
ACL, it'll be tough, but
Like a knee break. Like his whole knee is like completely. Like
gone.
they give him like 12 months to like that's when you
Okay.
know, like 12 to
Yeah.
16.
yeah. So hopefully he comes back. But I think this can be the opportunity for them to end this season on a high note and really get ready for next season, build some momentum going into the end of the recruiting cycle with National Signing Day, the final one happening in February. So they also have a lot of energy. She's a much better team than Marshall as well. Marshall really good defense, fine offense, but I think it's just overpowered.
Yeah, I mean these two is contrast in styles between Central Florida really leaning heavily on their freshman quarterback Dylan Gabriel. They have a ton of weapons at quarterback. They have, of course, Mackenzie Milton, who's hurt. What's his face? Daryl Mack, who took over last year, almost beat LSU in the bowl game. Freaking the Notre Dame guy, Wimbush, who apparently isn't that good actually. So this is their 4th-string quarterback. They still went 9-3. This is a very, very powerful team. Obviously, then Marshall, of course, strong on the ground, using heavily Brendan Knox, 244 carries, which is 10th in the entire country, I believe. So, I think that's correct. I don't think that's, yeah. So, one of the most heavily used running backs in the whole nation, Brendan Knox. Too much Central Florida, though. I think they're going to torch this, mediocre Marshall defense. Yeah, I think this team is, it is honestly a very, could be a very strong, even Power 5 team that just kind of went down to their fourth-string quarterback this year and still won 9 games in a very tough American this year. So, I like the Knights, and I'm a big Central Florida national champion.
Yo, 2017.
Let's go. I know I probably just lost a bunch of fans right there, so I probably went down from 8 to 7.5. Yeah.
Some South Florida fans on.
But yeah, some South Florida fans probably would appreciate that. But I mean, teams have been claiming championships forever, and they won every game on the schedule, and they have a right to do it.
They beat Auburn.
They beat Auburn. They, I think all the SEC people are like, and I hate the SEC despite going to South Carolina. So yeah, I mean, it's easy to say when your team just got sent to represent in the bowl game and then goes out and loses and says, "Oh, well, you're not the national champion." So yeah, I mean, whether or not people recognize it, that's another thing. But
in our hearts,
yeah,
where it'll live on, and the
Central
stories
Florida.
we tell our kids. Central Florida,
the national champions, 2 years in a row. Okay, finally on the FBS slate, we have the former WAC. Actually, I'm not sure if BYU was in the WAC. I think it was Mountain West. We have the former. I don't know. I feel like these teams are linked in more ways than
Hawaii and BYU.
Yeah, it seems like I know there's a BYU Hawaii campus that my friend went to.
Oh.
So maybe that's what it is.
Yeah. This is the battle for Hawaii then. Which
Right.
campus will consume the island?
Right. Okay. So we have Hawaii BYU in the SoFi Hawaii Bowl. Set the scene, Mr. Charloni.
Imagine mountains and volcanoes in the background.
Right.
Lush blue water down below.
Palm trees.
Black sand, I think.
Right. Big
Bungalow.
waves. Big bungalow.
I have never been to Hawaii. I have
Neither
no
have I.
idea what it looks like. I'm sure it's beautiful.
Allegedly.
Yeah, Kona. I think not Mona.
Moana.
Kona is a triathlon. Moana. That's good lord. These are things. I'm killing Garrett over here. That's the same here. No knowledge of the home field advantage, but I do know Hawaii is from Hawaii. And even though BYU's got a Hawaii campus, I think that Hawaii will come off with the win here in the Hawaii Bowl. Defending the home islands, I really like what Cole McDonald has done all year. He was had a farm. E-I-E-I-Go. He's had a great season. He's my dark horse Heisman candidates entering the season, someone that I think put up massive numbers given their offense, the level of play of the competition, everything else. Certainly hasn't lived up to that hype, but he's had a very solid season. And I think he's coming back again for his senior season. But yeah, I think it's just a really high-powered offense. BYU's had a very odd season, winning some good games, like against Boise State, and losing some pretty atrocious games. And I think that Hawaii will be able to play above that level of competition they might expect from BYU. Really bring their offense all together. It'll be, a battle of strength against strength in the Hawaii offense and the BYU defense. No idea if it's going to be high scoring or low scoring, but I think that
medium scoring.
Medium scoring, medium high.
High, medium.
Yeah.
Scalding. These are like settings on an oven now.
yeah. Or it's like
medium rare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Undercooked. That's one. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
Vegetarian.
Chris Collinsworth sliding.
Sure. The herd. Give me Hawaii. Give me Hawaii winning on their home turf. I think Cole McDonald's leadership will bring them through. This BYU team is just too off kilter to put together a solid game. And I think that when it matters most, BYU will come away with an interception or turnover, or just a big drive. Seal it.
Just for the sake of opposing you, I will take
Please.
the Mormons
Great.
here.
The fighting Mormons.
Yeah, the missionaries, who are considerably older than the average team because of the Mormon mission phenomenon. And so a lot of their players are a couple years older. They take a couple years off of football. Or, I don't know if they take it off of football. They just go,
You play football.
they travel, and then they probably work out a lot when they're gone, so they could be good when they're
Building
gone.
houses is a good workout.
Yeah,
I
they
imagine.
got that. Yeah, they do build houses and stuff, I'm sure. But they got that man strength. And they also recruit a lot from Hawaii, I think. A lot of, a lot of the top talent from Hawaii has gone to the West Coast for years, including the Western United States, I guess, including BYU and Utah. So I think BYU comes in and gets the job done. They have a very puzzling record with teams they've beaten and teams they've lost to. But yeah, I don't know. I just like their man strength to push around the little boys of Hawaii on their own little Moana. This is becoming really stereotypical. Moana is actually, I think, more of a Polynesian type background.
I didn't watch it.
I feel like we're really putting us in danger of a lawsuit right now. I mean, we talk about Tanner Wilson, right? We talk about Cole McDonald. These are guys both that Tanner Wilson a little bit more. Do I have his name?
I think that's right. Sounds right.
No, I'm mixing him up with the old quarterback, which is Tanner Mangum. But Wilson for BYU is a kind of a more nimble, make plays with his feet type.
Yeah.
Cole McDonald really just slings it. Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a fun matchup. I have the Cougars to Coug the Warriors. All right. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Maul? Is that a better word?
Maul.
That's what a cougar does.
Okay.
Goes out, finds its prey in the mountain, in the volcanoes of Hawaii.
Let's close with some key Division 2.
Those. Congratulations
Oh,
to North Central
Yes.
winning last night's
Yes.
the Division 3 championship.
Correct. Against Wisconsin Whitewater, the perennial powerhouse.
Yeah.
And they defeated them. They jumped out to a 34-0 lead, I believe. There was really no contest. I watched the highlights. I didn't watch the game, watched the highlights. Truly just moving the ball up and down the field, and I believe that they didn't, Wisconsin Whitewater didn't convert a third down until like the end of the second quarter or something. Yeah, I mean, by that time it was 27-0. So, congratulations to them for being our small school MVP. We're going to start with D2 and move back up to FCS. We got West Florida, who I successfully picked last week to defeat Ferris State. And we have Minnesota, who we both successfully picked, who whomped Slippery Rock, as we both determined that their rushing attack would be dominant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is the championship game.
This is the championship
Correct.
game.
Give me Minnesota. I love Minnesota. That rushing offense is something amazing, as they put on display last week or a couple days ago against Slippery Rock, as Garrett said. I don't know why West Florida is still winning. I'm impressed again. I love it. But this Minnesota team I think is way too powered offensively. I don't know where they're playing either. But
Texas.
It's a nice warm place. Great for running the ball still.
Great for teams like West Florida. I have West Florida.
Okay, great.
No
great.
idea why.
Yeah.
They have beaten some of the top
Roll
teams
them.
in the year all season long. They beat the top 2 teams in the country this season. They got it again. They got it in the cards. No idea why. I think Minnesota State's probably going to win this game by 30, but I'm taking West Florida, the Panhandlers, I had the team name last week. Oh, they're the Argonauts.
Yeah.
They're the Argonauts.
Yeah.
Out of Pensacola. So don't do me wrong, buddy. All right, Max.
Yeah.
Tell us about.
Yeah, of course. Well, there are only 2 more games left in this round of the FCS championships.
I gotta stand up.
Yep.
Cramping.
All good. We're almost done. 45 minutes. It's supposed to be a short episode. First off, we're gonna move that back. We are looking at North Dakota State taking on Montana State.
The Big Sky versus the Missouri Valley Football Conference, even though they're really both Big Sky. Yeah. I mean, come on. It's pretty obvious where they are. The sky is bigger.
Montana is Big Sky country, and yet they're not in the Big Sky conference.
No.
No, that's right.
Yeah.
That's whoops.
But they're playing under the big dome, the Fargo Dome. Fargo, North Dakota. I'm terrible.
We're losing it here. North Dakota State, it's the best team in the FCS every year. Montana State's had some impressive wins against Montana, I think, but lost to Weber State. Sac State. And Ball State. Sac. We love us some bison.
Yeah, I've actually eaten bison before.
I've not. I've had alpaca.
I've had a bite of bison. I've had a bite.
A bison bite.
A bison. It's a bison with a Z. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna analyze this game for you, and that's called North Dakota State's a much better team than Montana State. Congrats to the Bobcats for making it this far. They're trying to win their first championship, I believe, since 1984 or something like that. They struggled with another comeback story in Austin Peay.
Yeah.
Let's go P. They did not. Okay, but I think that North Dakota State has showed that it can win in so many different ways. Last week, of course, no exception. They beat Illinois State by the wonderful score of 9-3. So, without scoring a touchdown, they were still able to just completely shut down. So, I mean, this team can do whatever it wants, basically, and I think it's going to do whatever it wants again. I really want to pick Montana State, but I can't. I just can't. I don't know why.
Pride.
Okay. Next up, final game, Weber State, JMU. I will go first.
Great.
JMU. Weber State probably should have lost last week. They kind of got help from some key turnovers, I believe, in the second half against Montana. JMU looked very strong defensively. Even though they, too, did not have a great offensive day against a Missouri Valley Conference opponent. So I'm going to take the 2 Big Sky teams to go down this week. I have JMU. Max, for the sake of...
Give me the Weebs! Dweebs!
For real?
Yeah. I think so. We eating dubs. Out here in Columbia, South Carolina. Yeah, give me Weber State. I think that they've had a much tougher schedule all season than JMU. Obviously, Big Sky Country is big dub country in the FCS. And yeah, I think they're experienced beating teams or playing teams at least like Sacramento State and Montana. Montana State will put out huge dividends here as we get further and further along in the contest. James Madison is certainly a great team. And if they do win, I'm going to pull for them to beat North Dakota State because I want them to lose North Dakota State. But
I'm all about the dynasties. Give me the Bison.
Great. But give me Weber State. I think that they've been able to pull it off. As you said, Garrett, they had a pretty miraculous comeback finish, and win last week, days ago, whenever that was.
Right.
I think let's keep it rolling, and we'll be able to upset James Madison
the president
way with this.
He's trying to beat the whole state of Weber, which is imaginary, all by himself. Right.
Yeah.
James Madison
James
versus
yeah.
Weber State.
Yeah.
So the
Man.
reason why I'm taking James Madison is because Weber State is fake. It's not a real state, so there's 0 people in it. But
Well,
James Madison by himself.
James Madison's a conspiracy theory.
Ah, you're right. He's not real. He's in the play Hamilton, but he's not real.
Yeah. It's like Shakespeare.
You know, he wasn't our 4th president. We went straight from
Quincy to Adams. So.
yeah, Adams to Jefferson to James Monroe State. Okay, that's it for us. You've been watching for 50 minutes and 22 seconds.
Count it up.
And you are probably going, I literally hate myself for watching all these videos. And we're with you. We're here for emotional support. Please call your local sheriff if you need a voice to talk to.
Or us.
Or us. My phone number is
803
6969. And Max
3.
Yeah, if you dial 3, you should get to Max. Alright, that's it from us. Go take your picks of Vegas. Go JMU. Go FIU.
Go Arkansas State. And the team right now that's playing.
Yeah.
Whichever. Go Mac. Go Mac. I love the Mac. Some Mac shit.
His name is Max for a reason. He got named after the whole conference. But I'm Garrett. That's Max. We'll see you next week for a more rigidly organized episode.
Unfortunately, no more together, though. This will be the last episode.
For
in person.
A little while. For a couple months, probably.
We'll make it happen.
We'll make it happen. We'll see you guys next week.